This is the DJI Power 2000, the Power 1000, and the Power 500. And in this video, I want to go through the differences between each one of these power stations so that you could figure out which one works best for you for the types of exploring you're going to go and do. Now, these power stations have a ton of different uses. I take them with me when I'm on set for my client work, and I take them when I go out here to nature and go exploring. I always carry one of these three batteries with me in the back of my Jeep, and I'll explain the different uses that I use these batteries for as we dig more into this video, because each one is unique in different ways, and there's different features and different accessories that you can use depending on what your purpose is for having a portable power station. I just want to say a special thanks to DJI for sponsoring this video. But before we dig into everything about these power stations, I want to tell you a little story. So before I started using DJI's batteries, I was using a different brand's power station. I would take it with me whenever I'd go camping in my Jeep. And there was this one trip where I was meeting up with a group of overlanders. We were going to go see some pretty epic locations. And whenever I'm out exploring, I want to bring my drone and I want to capture footage, because having that drone's perspective when we're out overlanding, especially when we go to these really cool places out in the desert, it just gives you so much more perspective and you get some really cool footage and photos. And I've printed out a lot of these photos. They're hanging in my office. But on this specific trip, I was running through multiple batteries with my Mavic 3 Pro. I had 3 of them with me. And by the time we got to camp, I only had 1 battery left with about a half a charge. We got to this really cool location. There was an epic sunset happening in the distance, and we really didn't have a whole lot of time to grab some footage. So I got the drone up, I got a few shots, but I was running out of battery pretty quick. And so I had the other batteries on charge with this other power bank that I was using. Now the issue is it wasn't able to keep up, and because I wasn't able to get enough charge on my extra batteries, I missed out on some pretty awesome footage. Now with DJI's batteries, there's this SDC port, and this port allows you to do a quick charge with drone batteries. So you can plug in your drone battery, and by the time you run out of juice with one battery, the other one's fully charged. It just keeps my drone batteries charged when I'm flying a bunch. So let's just first talk about the capacity. You have 2000, 1000, 500. The 2000 holds 2048 watt hours of power. So essentially, the 1000 is double of the 500, and the 2000 is double of the 1000. Pretty simple. However, there is more options with your capacity. So with the 500, you're just basically limited to that 548 watt hours. Whereas on the 1000, you can expand this. You can add an additional battery. DJI makes these 2000 watt hour expansions, so you can take your 1000 watt hour battery and make it a 3000 watt hour battery by connecting it through that SDC port. Now the DJI Power 2000 can expand even more. You can hook up to 10 additional batteries to the DJI 2000. So with it all combined, the max capacity with the DJI 2000 is 22,528 watt hours. So that's a massive amount of power. And the reason that you would do that is if you're using this to power your home or like use it as like a backup battery. So the DJI 500 is very much like a day use kind of thing. It's to power your phones, your laptops, your drones, just quick power that you need. Whereas the 1000 is more for like a day of camping. So you could charge all your different devices, but you could also run things like your electric stove or your tea kettle or whatever you're using when you're out camping. And the 2000 basically expands beyond that. Having double the amount of power makes it so that you can use this for multiple days without having to charge it, but also you could just run more off of this battery when you have all your devices plugged in. And that's because of the output power. So these each have a little bit different in their output power. So with the 500, you could basically pull 1000 watts at any given time. You can't really exceed that 1000 watts. Now with the 1000, you could pull 2200 watts at any given time. Now the continuous output on the DJI Power 2000 is 3000 watts. So you could basically run pretty much any household appliance using the DJI 2000. So if you're running like a microwave or an induction stove, you don't have to worry about it with the 2000. So this is basically the one that you want to use if you're running a bunch of different appliances, or if you're using something like power tools. The 2000 is going to give you the most amount of continuous output at any given time. All right, so let's talk about ports. So on the DJI 500, you have 2 AC ports. You have 2 USB-C ports, which max out at 100 watts. You have 2 USB-A ports, which max out at 24 watts. You have an SDC light, and then you have your input, your charging. And you could charge at 540 watts or 270 watts. So depending on how you're charging this, you could have it charge faster or you could have it charge a little bit slower. So you're a little bit limited with the 500 to just a handful of ports. However, with this SDC light, you could still charge your drone batteries with that fast charging capability. So I have my Air 3 battery here. I'm gonna plug this in, and we're getting an output of over 100 watts into the battery. So this has been slowly climbing as we're sitting here talking, and it gets higher and higher. But this allows you to fast charge this battery so that by the time you need this battery, if you have your drone up flying, this one will be fully charged. Now, with the Power 1000, you have 2 AC ports. You have the same USB-A and USB-C ports, but the USB-C max out at 140 watts. You have your charge. So this is the input into the battery. This can go up to from 600 watts to 1200 watts. So this one can charge even faster. And this has 2 SDC ports, one SDC normal and then one SDC light like we saw on the DJI Power 500. Now with the big one, you have a lot more options. So you have more AC ports. You have 3 AC ports here, and you have a 30 amp port here as well. So bigger appliances, things that need a 30 amp plug, you can plug them into this battery. Now your USB-C, you have 4 now, and 2 of them are 140 watts. 2 of them are 65 watts, and then you have 4 USB-A ports. Because this has a continuous output of 3000 watts, you can plug more into this and you're not gonna max it out. Now this one has 2 SDC ports, so there has no SDC light on here. And these are important because you can do different things with the SDC versus the SDC light. And this one also has your charging capacity, and you have high or low. So this battery could be fully charged in either 75 minutes or it could take up to 145 minutes, depending on if you're using the fast or slower charge feature. So let's cook some lunch because it's lunchtime out here. Hungry, out here making videos. It's hot. It's like almost 100 degrees right now. So I'm gonna just cook some lunch. I'm gonna be using the DJI Power 2000 in a few different ways, and we'll keep talking about the different features that make each one unique. So while I'm getting everything set up, let me just talk about the portability of each one of these power stations. The DJI Power 500 is around 16 pounds. So it's lightweight that you can carry it basically anywhere. And oftentimes if I need to have a battery where I pull out of the truck and I move a distance away, that's the one I'm gonna bring. Now the Power 1000, it's 28.7 pounds. Now this is manageable, and it also comes with a carrying case. So you can have the Power 1000 in this soft carry case, which does make it a lot more portable. It's kind of a great middle ground between the two. Now the DJI Power 2000 is 48.5 pounds. It's heavy, but it's solid. This thing is a beast, and it might not be the easiest for you to carry around. Now I've been able to move this around my Jeep, but I wouldn't want to be carrying this for long distances and having it in a space where I have to constantly move it. So the Power 2000 is definitely a better fit for vehicle-based setups and longer stays. So if you're somewhere for a long period of time and it's going to be sitting there, then the Power 2000 makes the most sense, especially because you're going to need power if you're there for multiple days or you're going on long road trips. So at the current load, it's drawing around 800 watts, and I'm plugged in a drone battery and my stove and a few other things. So on this screen, it shows your battery left. It shows you how much time you have left at the current load. It also has a visual here that shows that. It shows your output, shows your input, and it also shows what is plugged in. So right now I have a USB-A, I have an AC port, and I have an SDC port. Now you also have this, which is the connectivity to the smartphone app. So this is looking for the app right now, and I can connect that so I can bring up the app. And as soon as it's connected, it will be solid. So the app is super interesting because as you can see here, I have a screen recording going. It shows you everything that's going on with your battery. So you can see at the top, it says the Power 2000 is connected. It shows my input, which I don't have any input going on right now. Nothing's going into it, but I have my output. So it shows my total watts outputting at the moment. It shows that my AC ports are on and it's outputting 800 watts. My USB is outputting 8 watts and my SDC is outputting 137 watts. battery's at 68.29%. So you don't even have to be near the Power 2000 to see what's going on. As soon as you have the app connected, you could walk away and you get to see everything about the battery. So if the battery was situated somewhere in the back here and I had everything plugged in, I could control it here from the phone and just see what's going on with it. Now this app only works with the DJI Power 2000 and 1000. On the 2000, it's built in. The capability comes inside. Whereas with the DJI Power 1000, it's actually an add-on. You get this little dongle that you plug into one of the SDC ports, and now you have the same connectivity. So you lose one of your SDC ports, but you have the ability to connect with your phone and see everything that's going on. With the DJI Power 500, you don't have the ability to connect through the app. All right, let's finish this. Lunch is done. So I'm gonna enjoy this. And we'll be right back to talk more about these batteries. If you're wondering, kind of like a fajita mix with some chips. That's what I decided to do today. Yeah, this one is bigger and more awkward to carry for sure. But now that we've had lunch and this battery's down to like 75%, let's charge it up. So this is a good opportunity to talk about the different ways that you can charge these 3 different batteries. So I have some solar panels set up here, and we're going to use the power of the sun. So with all 3, you could use the DJI solar adapter. It hooks into the SDC port, and you'll be able to charge your batteries off of solar. Now there's a few different attachments that DJI has for solar panels. So depending on the style of solar panel that you have, you could just connect these directly in. So I've just added both of these, and input, I'm getting about 100 watts right now with these 2 panels. So with this connection that DJI has, you can hook up to 3 different solar panels. And with the DJI Power 2000, there's 2 SDC ports. So you can hook up, so you could input up to 1800 watts of power when you're charging off of solar. Now, with the Power 1000, you could have up to 600 watts inputting at any time. And with the Power 500, you could have up to 300 watts. So you could charge your 2000 much faster than the other 2 because you can bring in more power however you have it hooked up. Now, another interesting charger is this guy. This is the 1 kilowatt supercar charger. And this connects directly to the battery under your hood. There's 1000 kilowatt and there's a 1.8 kilowatt. So how this works is you get a cable, and this cable looks like, jumper cable or something, connects directly to your car's battery, and you have this super long cable that you could feed to either in your cab, or in my case, I'm gonna run it all the way to the back, in the back of my Jeep where my camper is. That connects to this box, and this box allows you to connect directly using the SDC port. So that SDC port keeps coming up because it's how you connect all these different accessories. So with this in, it charges super fast, and you can see the charging times on screen here for both the 1 kilowatt and the 1.8 kilowatt super fast car charger. Now, the really cool thing about this accessory is that if your car battery dies, well, you could charge your car battery using your DJI Power 1000 or Power 2000. And so that way, no matter what happens, if it gets too cold and your main battery dies, well, you could charge it back up using your DJI battery rather than having to jump your car. So it's kind of a cool feature that allows you to always have battery in the car battery. But the reason that you would get this is that it's a super fast charger. So it's going to charge up your battery when you're driving. So when you're going between camps, or if you're heading out to a location, whatever you're doing, you plug this in and your battery's going to charge up super fast. Now, another way that you could charge any of your batteries is using a 12 volt adapter. So this is going to be much slower than the other ways that I've showed. However, you could just plug this into your 12 volt in your car and you could charge that way. So DJI gives us a bunch of different options to be able to charge these batteries so that if you're in a vehicle, or you're out camping, or you're at home, or you just need the power of the sun, you could charge these batteries and keep them always topped off so that you can have your power for charging all your other devices. All right, so let's have a conversation about figuring out which one's the best for you. And I've come up with a few questions here that I think is going to help set the framework now that you understand what all of these batteries are and what their capabilities are. So you should think about it like this. How long are you going to be out there? So how long are you going to be exploring? How long are you going to be using the battery between charges? And then what must stay powered? So what are the different devices that you're planning to charge or use with the battery? And then do you want to keep it mobile, or are you setting up like a base camp? These three questions are really going to help determine what you're going to do with your battery. And also, these are the questions that I ask myself when I'm deciding which battery I take with me when I'm going out. So if I'm going out for a bunch of days and I'm going to be going kind of rapidly, well, the Power 1000 is actually all I typically need, because the Power 1000 allows me to cook food, allows me to power my drones, my cameras, all of that. And I only really need to keep a charge for an afternoon or an evening when I'm at camp. Now, if I'm planning to stay at camp for multiple days, then that's where the Power 2000 really makes more sense, because it gives you a lot more power within the one battery. Now, if I'm going out and I'm going to be using a ton of batteries, like a ton of drone batteries, and I'm also going to be cooking and this and that, I'm going to aim for the Power 2000 every time. But if I want a smaller battery that I could use to, say, run a camera all night doing a time lapse, I'm going to use the Power 500. So the 500's portable, where you could carry it with you and actually go a distance. So I'll camp, I'll walk out into the trees or the desert somewhere and set that battery down and have it run my camera all night. That's also just a good battery to have like when I need just a quick charge. So if it's in the car and I'm just doing like a day trip somewhere and I just want to have a battery that I could use to charge phones or charge some extra gear, the Power 500 is more than enough for those situations. Now, if you want to use this to power some of your filmmaking equipment, say your lights and cameras, and you're plugging a bunch into it at once, I highly suggest the 2000. So when I'm working on my client jobs and I'm going on set and I want to have a backup battery that I can have like on my camera cart, I use the Power 2000 now and I stick it down below and I can power all my devices off of it. So it really just depends what your use case is. And now that you could see the different ways that you can charge them and use them, it should give you a better understanding of which one makes the most sense for you. Oftentimes when I'm camping in my Jeep, I've been using the Power 1000 before this 2000 came out, and the 1000 got me most of the way. There was a handful of times where I ran pretty low on that Power 1000, where the 2000 would have been just much better, and that's where I'm at camp for an extended period of time. So if I'm overlanding and I'm going for longer periods of time, I'm going to take the 2000 with me every time. I could also charge it faster. I can have more output at once. It just makes a lot more sense. And so I'll put on screen, here's the prices of each one of these batteries so you can see the differences. And I highly suggest go on the website, go to DJI's website and check out all the different accessories, see what makes sense, and really put together what you would get with your battery and price it out. Because once you go through and look at all these different accessories, you'll see exactly what the cost is going to be for everything that you need to stay powered up. So I hope this video was helpful, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. On this channel, I teach you how to make better videos. And if you want to learn a storytelling tool that's going to help you make all of your videos better, well, check out this video right here. It goes through one of the key things that a lot of creators forget when they're crafting their stories. So I'll see you over there.